Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. We start off the show with a wonderful organization. And, you know, just as a personal side note, my dog Stewie, who many of you have met, was a guest on Daytime Ottawa. Wow, it's going back 13 years ago, and I know so many of you have always said, you know, how's Stewie? Stewie's doing great. 15 years old this year, and if you would like to help out a dog in need, our first guest has a wonderful story to share. She is the Director of Palliative Care at Freedom Dog Rescue. I'm joined by Natasha McMahon. Natasha, welcome to the show. Wonderful to have you here. Let's talk about Freedom Dog Rescue. Tell us a little bit about it.
Of course. Yeah. Well, thank you for having us on the show. Freedom Dog Rescue has been in Ottawa for 7 years now. And in that 7 years, I've been a part of Freedom for 5 years. I started out just as a foster parent, as a volunteer, and worked my way up, started taking over some of the social media accounts. I'm by no means a social media expert, so it's been a lot of fun. This is Storm here. And then, eventually I worked my way up to Director of Palliative Care. The palliative care program is especially unique because instead of adopting dogs out, these dogs tend to have medical needs. They're considered medically fragile or terminally ill in some cases. A lot of shelters would need to have sort of an adoptable dog to keep them in care, whereas Freedom Dog Rescue keeps these dogs in volunteer foster homes, and we provide for them veterinary care. We scratch items off bucket lists, and we make them comfortable in their final days. So the palliative program is a pretty special place to be.
No kidding. And I don't think a lot of people think of, when they think palliative care, they don't necessarily think about, our pets. And it's so incredibly important. And of course, when it comes to that kind of care, funding is an absolute necessity. Natasha, where does most of your funding come from at the moment?
Yeah, so actually 100% of our funding comes from fundraising efforts, grants, donations, straight from the community. Nobody gets paid to do what we do. We're all here because we're volunteers, and we're very lucky that, we're not the only philanthropists. There's a world of people in the Ottawa community who are always happy to help, and that's what keeps us going.
Well, and you put on great events in order to raise funds, and we're talking about one of your great events today called Pawchella. Obviously, an inspiration from the ever-popular Coachella Music Festival. Tell us about Pawchella and what you have planned.
Absolutely. So Pawchella kind of came to us a couple months ago out of nowhere in some talks with a few local musicians who have actually built quite a reputation for themselves. A lot of them are assigned to record labels even out in Nashville. So a special shout out to Stefano, to Dan Petty, to Matt Powell, and also to Eric Luca Music. They're all huge dog lovers, and they came together to sort of help us create Pawchella. So Pawchella is going to be happening at Club Saw, also known as Saw Gallery. So that's on Nicholas Street downtown, and it's going to be happening March 27th. We know it's the same day as the Bieber concert, but we're hoping we'll still get a good turnout nonetheless. But yeah, we plan to have lots of fun different things there. We have a lottery license, so we can have a 50-50 draw. We have a raffle basket. We're going to set up a photo booth. It's going to be a ton of fun, and most importantly, this event, this live music concert festival, is an opportunity to raise funds for the palliative program especially, but I'm sure we'll maybe share some of the funds with the adoption side too. So.
Of course. Well, let's talk about the adoption side a little bit. You obviously have some dogs that are up for adoption, but I noticed you had Storm there. It's my understanding that Storm is part of the palliative care program. Tell us a little bit about Storm.
That's correct. Yeah, so Stormy, why don't you come here for a second? I have treats to bribe her with, so she comes and she calls.
Nice.
Stormy, come here. What's this? Come on. So this is Storm. Storm came into care when she was actually just 4 months old. She's now 4 years old, and she's still in the palliative program. So Storm, come. You want a biscuit? So she tends to... she has a heart murmur. So with the heart murmur, she could live 5 minutes. She could live 5 years. But when she came to us, she was deaf. She was blind. she was unable to walk properly, and we found out that she had a tick-borne parasite which caused meningitis.
Okay.
And she had a pelvic infection, and that was the reason why she couldn't walk. So she went through hyperbaric medicine at Alta Vista Animal Hospital. So she went into those chambers. She's been seizure-free now for over 3 years. So she's really doing great. She does still suffer with allergies. She does still go to the vet, on a monthly basis for cytopoint injections. But yeah, Storm, come say hi.
Come here, Storm.
She's feeling a little camera shy right now.
Yeah,
Storm,
I see that. Let's
She's
talk
my 60-pound lap dog.
Oh, look at her. What a beauty. Let's talk about volunteer opportunities. I know you're always looking for volunteers. Of course, adoption being a big part of that as well, Natasha.
Absolutely, yeah. So as I mentioned before, Freedom is a 100% volunteer-based rescue. So we don't have a shelter. If you're fostering a dog, the dog stays in your home with you. It becomes a member of your family. So that's a big way to volunteer, is to become a foster parent. But there are other parts of volunteering as well, such as being transport for people who don't have cars. Maybe a dog needs to get to a veterinary appointment. Maybe we need to collect donations or go to an adoption or a meet and greet event. So those are all great ways to volunteer as well. We also have a bottle drive that we have year round, actually. And this bottle drive allows us to raise funds for the adoption program. So we always need people to participate in that as well.
Well, we brought up the website. Thank you so much, Natasha, and thanks for introducing us to Storm. Really appreciate your time today. I want to remind everybody at home again, Pawchella, Sunday, March the 27th. That's at Club Saw. Doors open at 5 p.m. We'll be back with more after this.